Hi guys, thanks for viewing. I'm Coach Adrien. As usual, I'm always grateful when you view my video and give me your response. I have always said that our clinics, our video are designed, structured to help viewers, help people make everyday choices that will make them happy. Today, the 1st of August, is Emancipation Day. Our issue for discussion comes from the 2022 award-winning book by Robert T. Chase, We Are Not Slaves. Now, slavery, particularly modern slavery, is a hot topic. And in fact, volumes are written, spoken, and recorded on this vexing issue of human enslavement. We are not slaves, Robert T. Chase says. What are the underlying messages? I have come up with 3 ideas. The first one, we are free men and women and have a natural right to enjoy civil liberties and to be treated as human beings. 2, no one, that is no man, no business, no government, no system, is to force any man, woman, or child to do things against their will. And the third idea that comes to me, we are free thinkers and free moral agents and have full autonomy and control, or must have free autonomy and control over our lives. And no one must take that privilege away from us. It's our God-given right. Now, it is on this latter point that Chase is celebrated. The writer revealed that prisoners in early 20th century America who lived like slaves in southern prisons had to take action to bring prison reforms because no one on the outside would help them. So let's go back to the background. The 1st of August is celebrated Emancipation Day, celebrating the end of bodily slavery or human trafficking on both sides of the Atlantic. In fact, the abolition of bodily slavery came in 1843 in the United Kingdom, 1848 in France, 1865 for the United States, 1886 in Cuba, 1888 in Brazil. These acts of parliament put an end to a system that had led to the deportation of at least 12 million individuals from the motherland Africa. But we are going too fast. These were acts of parliament. But did you know that after 100 years, slavery is still alive? Painfully, I answer yes. In fact, on July 30th, the United Nations celebrated World Day Against Trafficking in Persons to signal the condemnation of our educated global society. Some 50 million people are still living in slavery, 28 million in forced labor and 22 million estimated in forced marriage. Modern slavery includes sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, forced labor, bonded labor, debt labor, domestic servitude, forced child labor, unlawful recruitment, and use of child soldiers. Wow! Bodily slavery, we are saying, from the statistics, is still alive. Now, mind you, according to law, Under any circumstance, a person uses force or physical threat, psychological coercion, abuse of legal process, deception, or any coercive means to compel someone to do something against their will, this is an act of enslavement, and this happens every day. Moreover, the literature maintains that once enslaved, the ex-slave and his generation are often likely to be shackled mentally. Mental slavery is where one becomes trapped by his misinformation about himself or herself and misinformation about the world in which he lives. Of course, I'm taught and pushed by the propaganda of the system itself. In his celebrated work, The Soul of Black Men, 1903, it would be nice if you could read that book. W.B. Du Bois argues that the psychological effect of slavery erodes the ex-slave's capacity to liberate himself and to think positively of himself. Du Bois is saying that the socialization under slavery removes the capacity of the ex-slave to liberate himself, emancipate himself, and to think positively of himself. I'm quoting, the problem Du Bois calls double consciousness. Du Bois says it is the sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring oneself by the tip of that outside world. So this is a dilemma. In 2023, the black man still sees himself as portrayed by the white man who enslaved him over 100 years ago. No wonder Bob Marley, the reggae prophet, calls on people everywhere, black people, people of African descent in particular, to emancipate themselves. He said, and I quote, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds." Bob Marley, Redemption Song from the album Uprising, 1979. But Christianity presents an antithesis to Marley's thesis. Bob says, none but ourselves can free our mind. The Bible says this is impossible because the power for mental slavery is outside of the man's capacity or his capability. So what are we saying? If so, how are we going to free ourselves from mental slavery? In the book of Romans, in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul explained the process. He says, be transformed or metamorphosed by the renewing of your mind. The book of Romans chapter 12, verse 2. For detail, read Romans 12. Now, the Greek word is metamorphose, from which we get metamorphosis, which describes the change from an egg to a caterpillar and ultimate to a butterfly. Each stage pictures a complete change from one stage of being to another. The caterpillar is a complete stage. It's an animal. It's a living thing. And the butterfly is completely, that comes out of the caterpillar. It's completely different, but it's an entity, a being by itself. This is what Paul says, this is what happens to a person who is emancipated. That change takes place in the mind. So Du Bois got it right. The black man or the white man or the yellow man, anyone cannot emancipate himself by measuring himself by the perception of his oppressors. We cannot, if we are measuring ourselves by the perception of our oppressors, we cannot emancipate ourselves. That's what Du Bois says. And that's what Paul is saying. That's what the Christian and Bible is saying. So man must go back to his roots in the beginning. Genesis 1:26 says, God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. When man needs a change, therefore, he must go back to God who created him. That's the point. So the only one who can change or emancipate man is the man who created man. That's God. Only God can change the mind of man. Only God can emancipate the man. So God is the only one who can break the chains that shackle us. We can never save ourselves from slavery or from sin. God is the only one who can deliver man, any color, from mental slavery and slavery from sin. And Jesus Christ taught that when he said, such things are impossible with men, but it is only possible with God. Read that detail about Jesus' teaching in the book of Luke, chapter 18. And we always end our clinic by reminding ourselves of the two principles that help us make wise decisions. The first one is from William Penn. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. And the other one is like itself. Truth is truth, even if no one believes it. And a lie is a lie, even if everyone believes it. And we always finally end with our word to the wise. Our word to the wise this time comes from Jesus, who offers the absolute solution for freedom. In the book of John, read the book of John, John chapter 8 in detail, but I'm quoting John chapter 8, verse 46. Jesus says, if the Son, that is he, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, if the Son sets you free, then you will be free indeed. Beautiful. If the Son sets you free, emancipates you from freedom, you will be everlastingly free. For more information, please visit our website, www.goadrians.com. Look out for a new video posted on my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter on the first day of each month. Connect with me, Coach Adrien, via WhatsApp or mobile 869-668-9752 or via email peter@goadrians.com. Thank you for viewing. Please subscribe and like my video. Jesus breaks every shackle. Jesus breaks shackles of any kind. When Jesus sets us free, we are everlastingly free. Thank you.